We're live. Hey, everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. This is Syndication Academy Update Webinar number 11 for April of 2017. We've got Adam and Marco on for support. What's up, guys? What's up, Adam?
Heyo.
We're back to normal Hangouts for this again, so it's going to switch between one video. Marco, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Okay, guys, I'm not going to spend any time dilly-dallying on, we don't really have any announcements anyways, other than we're going to be doing a webinar next week for SiteWiz, which is a sister product of RankWiz, which was amazing. We had an awesome webinar with Pavel Kovalev, I think his name is, on Monday for RankWiz. I'm super impressed with that tool. And so we're going to have him back to talk about SiteWiz next Monday. So highly encourage you guys to sign up for that. Check out the webinar. The guy really knows his stuff. I was really impressed. So check that out. Also, I know Marco and I are going to be doing a webinar about structured data. It is free. We're going to do that the following Monday. So May 8th, I believe it is. All right. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll send notifications. I'm going to grab the screen and we're going to get into this, guys. We got a lot to go through today. Okay. All right. This is where we're going to go through today, guys. I'm not going to blow this up separately. You guys can read this. If you want the link, let me copy this. I'll post it on the page. Hey, Keith. Hey, Greg. What's up, guys? Okay, that's the presentation slides, guys, if you want to go through them on your own. All right, so this is what we're going to cover. What to do next, how to get results for local. Now, why would I put what to do next as the first bullet of an update webinar? Like, what am I talking about, right? Well, we had a request. I guess Adam has been interviewing Syndication Academy members recently and asking them just really briefly, like what they like about Syndication Academy, what they don't like, what they would like to see, that kind of stuff. And so this came up. There was a couple suggestions, which is one, what to do next. Okay, now that people know how to build syndication networks, what do they do next, right? Which I know we're at update webinar number 11, which means we're 11 months in to Syndication Academy version 2, and I'm just now doing the what to do next video. But it was a good suggestion that I guess I never realized that people didn't know what to do with them. So we're going to cover that, and then we're going to talk about how to get results for local, which was another suggestion based upon Adam's surveys. IFTTT updates. One quick one for Delicious, another one for YouTube to self-hosted WordPress applet. That was another request. All right, and then we're going to talk about YouTube and G+ brand account update. Yes, they've updated it again. It seems like almost every month I have a new update for YouTube and Google+, like interface updates. It seems like every month we've got another one, and it has been updated again. And then lastly, I put this was supposed to be removed because I don't have any new properties for this week. I was going to, but this is going to be a long enough training that I didn't add, or excuse me, this month I don't have any additional update properties to add to the network. We'll add, unless there's a particularly long training session next month, I'll add a few extras for the next month's update webinar, guys. But this is going to be quite the training webinar, so I didn't get time to add additional. We wouldn't have time to add additional properties anyways. All right. So that said, let's get right into it. So this part is going to be trimmed out or edited out and then added into Syndication Academy in a couple different locations because I want everybody to see this video as they finish building networks. So this will be added into the main core training as well as the updates. Okay, so what to do next? So you have a syndication network. What now? So this is the process that I go through, guys, for basically once a network has been built. I need to really think about my content schedule, like my content strategy, because the idea with the IFTTT networks, I keep calling them that, old habits die hard, the syndication networks, the syndication networks, the whole strategy is about content marketing, right? I mean, we always think about link building and all this other kind of stuff, but really what makes it work is the content marketing. So I have to think about my content strategy. And really that comes down to doing these steps here. Compile a list of keywords for blog posts and or videos. Depending on whether you're doing blog syndication or video syndication or both, you're going to want to do keyword research. Long tails are great for this. You can, and that's another typo, use Google Trends and or PSP, which is Power Suggest Pro. Everybody here should be fully aware of Power Suggest Pro. If you're not, you can click on that link and go check it out. It's the Google scraper, or excuse me, the Suggest scraper that scrapes from multiple search engines, and it's freaking fabulous. It's my favorite keyword tool of all time, and it's inexpensive, one-time fee. Okay, so those are great tools, guys. You know, we can walk through very, very quickly because I did want to kind of walk through this since this is going to be part of the core training. I want to just walk through trends real quick just to give you guys an update on that. I know a lot of you are probably very familiar with this, but for those of you that aren't, or new people, I want to walk through this. So trends is trends.google.com. You can always just go to Google and search trends, and it'll be the first link that comes up. But like, let's say that you were going to do, I don't know, let's just because I'm been thinking about this niche recently anyways, let's do like, in fact, let's do this. Let's go with remodeling. Let's say that I'm doing a site, either a lead gen site or a client. I'm working on a new client's site that's in the remodeling industry. Okay. So I'm going to go to trends and I'm going to put in a keyword, my top level, broadest of keywords, right? Remodeling. I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to hit search, and then I'm going to come over here and go to the drop down, which is where I can change you know, targeting options or whatever, and I want to click from worldwide, and I want to go to at the very least, or at the very start, I want to say go to United States. And then what I like to do from there is I leave it on past 5 years. Now, guys, if you're doing YouTube stuff, you want to come over to this and click on the drop down for where it says web search and click over to YouTube search, because this is going to give you different sets of search behavior and search statistics. It's going to give you a different set of search statistics based upon YouTube instead of Google, right? Which is the web search. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to be talking about from a blogging standpoint, not a video standpoint. Okay. So I'm going to leave it to web search. I'm going to put remodeling. I'm going to leave it to United States for right now, only because I want to come down here to the related queries section. And I want to go through and look at my rising terms first. That's what's going to display first by default. And then let me zoom in a little bit, guys. I'll make it easier on you to see, I think. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to just go through here and look for keywords, guys, more near me terms. If you guys aren't targeting near me terms, you're nuts, okay? Because I see this popping up more and more in the rising terms all the time in trends. I'm always seeing near me terms now pop up for everything, okay? Anyways, I'm just going to go through here, and I would look at the keywords, guys, and just I take a spreadsheet. So I always use Google Sheets for everything, but I'm not going to open up another Google Sheet. I got too many of them open. So let me open up Excel real quick. What I would do is I would just go in. I'm not going to zoom in on this, guys, but you get the idea. I'm just going to say, excuse me, we're going to say remodeling as my seed term. I always put my seed term at the first row inside of a spreadsheet, and or the first, you know, at the top of a column. And then I just go through and I just look at these keywords, and anything that looks like it would be relevant to my project, I'm going to put in here. So like remodeling, what was it to say, contract, kitchen remodeling near me. So I would just go through here and add these keywords, anything that looks like it's relevant to my project. All I'm doing in trends, guys, is gathering what I call seed terms. Okay, that's it. I let trends tell me what my seed terms are. Then I drill down into each one of those seed terms further, both in Trends and Power Suggest Pro, to gather my total overall content marketing keyword list. That's going to give me all the keywords that I'm going to ever need for my content marketing strategy. Does that make sense? So again, I start with trends. I always go with top level keyword, in this case, remodeling. Then I go through, and all I do is just pick out the ones that are relevant to my task, add them to a spreadsheet. I just put them all in the same column. You could do like remodeling. You could separate by, like, you know, you could say rising here, and then you could say remodeling over here and do top terms. And what I mean by that is, and let's just say top. Top means these are the top. Rising means the top related terms that have shown a significant increase in search volume in recently. And I don't know what that recently threshold is. I don't know if it's 90 days, 60 days, 30 days. I have no idea. All I'm saying is that whenever you see this, that means that there's been a surge or an increase in search interest and queries for these phrases. Okay. So I go through that. Then after I collect rising, I go to top, and top is going to show the top related terms that have historical, you know, based on history. They're historically the top related keywords to that seed term, in this case, remodeling. So obviously this is where I'm going to get home remodeling, kitchen remodeling, bathroom or remodeling bathroom, and you'll probably see bathroom remodeling in here. Remodeling contractors, remodeling contractor, basement remodeling. All of these keywords, guys, would be going bath remodeling. So that's a variation of bathroom remodeling, right? So all of those would go into this column as well. Then what I would do is start drilling down into each one of those. So for example, this was a top level term of remodeling. Well, then I would go and look at home remodeling, right? So I put that in another column. Shit, I meant to hit enter. Let me try that again. All right, then I'd come over here and I'd put kitchen remodeling in. Okay, and so you can start comparing terms that way. And remember, I've got this set to United States because I want to see what the most popular keywords are in the niche. However, once I've gone through, and because you're going to get the most data when you have it on a national level like this, right? But then after I've collected all my seed terms, what I want to do before I navigate away from trends and go into Power Suggest Pro is I want to come here and I want to narrow it down to the location, more targeted to the location that I'm going to be you know, doing my work in or building the site in or whatever. So in this case, like, let's just say I'm going to go, let's just say Virginia. I'm going to click here and I'm going to scroll down and go to Virginia and I'm going to select that. Now, if I want to go down to a city level, I can. If you're dealing with very populated areas, then you can usually go to city level and still get some pretty good data. But generally, in areas that are like generally on a city level, it's gonna return a lot less data. And so I will usually just go to the state level. You can go down to a city level, and then if there's limited data, back it up to the state level. Okay, if that makes sense. And in that way, I get more targeted keywords that are or search queries based upon my specific location. And I can include those as seed terms that I can drill into deeper, if that makes sense. Like, for example, kitchen remodeling. Look at this, rising kitchen remodeling, Northern Virginia. Well, Northern Virginia is an area that it covers like, you know, all the stuff that immediately adjacent to Washington, D.C. It's a very, very high income, wealthy area because there's a ton of federal money going through it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's a great keyword. And you can see that apparently this has had a 400% increase in search interest since the last at whatever that threshold is, right? So again, these are all just additional terms that I can go through and add to my list. Once I've added all those, I drill down into them, okay? So that's pretty much it for the keyword research part, guys. The next thing is to set up the silos and or playlists for the top level keywords. So based upon the data, you know, again, I find my seed terms here, and what, as far as drilling down in each of them deeper, what I would do is, for example, maybe, you know, kitchen remodeling is I would take that and go into Power Suggest Pro and paste that in and just select Google because I'm just searching for Google terms, not YouTube terms right now. Then what I would do is collect all of the terms. Let me put this down, excuse me. I'd collect all the terms from Power Suggest Pro, paste them into, and all I would do, by the way, is in this column is I would, you know, maybe do this, like say kitchen remodeling was my seed term for Power. And usually this is what I do, by the way. I just want to show you guys. I'm going to say trends here. I usually have one tab for trends data, and then I have another one for like PSP data. So I would rename this just PSP. And then so here I would take, let's say kitchen remodeling was the seed term that I wanted to drill into. I would come over here, paste it at the top of the column. Then let me just actually go open this up real quick. Stand by.
Can I just say that
please?
Power Suggest Pro is only $57 right now.
It is
lifetime, and you get all of the upgrades for that price. And that I haven't been able to find anything to make money that's better than this fucking tool right here, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just awesome.
Yep. So what I would do, guys, is let this run. I'm going to go ahead and stop now, but I would let this run, and you know, you can use filters. Like, it's funny, but there's filters in here for exporting keywords and all that kind of stuff that like I never used up until about 2 months ago. Like I literally would just copy all once it was done and paste it into a spreadsheet, and then manually go through row by row and delete any non-relevant keywords that weren't relevant to my project. But there, you can actually do stuff here. Like, let's say that you want to only keep keywords containing VA, right, for Virginia, or something like that. If I wanted to, I could do that. And you can see, look at this, look how quickly, and I had only let that run for a couple seconds, guys, but they're out of the 256 or 286 or whatever keywords were there just a minute ago. I just added that filter to just have VA in the query. And look at this, it just returned 22 keywords. So it's made it. Now, some of these are still unrelated, there's no doubt. But my point is you can use this tool very, very quickly to generate a ton of really, really long tail stuff, right? And then those are going to be your content marketing keywords, topics and phrases that you can work into your content marketing, into blog post titles, into the actual content body of the post. Again, you can use some of those long tails as topics for their own blog posts, right? So again, you want to set up your silos and playlists for your top level keywords. In this case, let's say it was a remodeling site, and you, well, not everybody was in the master class, but we can go take a look at this real quick. Let's do that. Gainesville, let's see, Gainesville, VA dot localhomepros.net. All right, this is a lead gen site that was set up around remodeling, and again, so the top level term is remodeling, and then we have home remodeling, which in my case I actually made home remodeling the top level term, but then we have all these sub niches, right, or these subcategories: kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, basement remodeling, countertops, which is really kind of out of place. That countertop could have been its own category, probably should have been its own category. But regardless, this just gives you an idea of how you would set up a silo, right? Because this site only has one silo. It's what you call a mono silo, right? People talk about you need 3 silos on a site, or 3 or 5 categories. You hear that shit all the time. It's total bullshit. You don't need all that. You can, if your site warrants it, you could have all those, but you don't need it. In fact, I recommend starting with one silo until you get traction and start getting traffic and results, then moving on to another silo. Otherwise, the amount of work becomes overwhelming. So anyways, this one site here has been ranking for over 2 years now, or about 2 years. And I haven't done anything else to it. It's just because it was set up properly, and the content marketing and everything that we're talking about on this slide was done just, and that's this. I applied what's on that slide to this site. Okay. And this is what, and this site is still ranking very, very well. It's not a very competitive area, but who cares, you know? Anyways, so publish content and add to silo. Once you've set up your silos, guys, and you can map all this stuff out first. And remember, you can create silos on your website. You can also create silos within YouTube using playlists. So publish content and add the content to the silos. In other words, when you publish content, make sure that they're in the proper categories, in the right location. Okay, then you want to link within the post and or video, right? So if you're doing, and again, I'm just going to finish this presentation on the blog side of things. You want to link within the post up to the silo page, okay, which is going to be a category, or if you're doing videos, a playlist. And then you also want to link within the post to the page that you want to rank on the site, which oftentimes is going to be your top level silo page anyway, okay? If you're using a complex silo structure, and I've got a diagram on the next slide, so we're going to talk about it. But if you're using a complex silo structure, it might not be the top level silo page. It might be one of the subcategory pages that you're going to want to try to rank. Okay. And if you've got multiple subcategories, then you're going to want to target, create multiple blog posts and target each one of the subcategory pages throughout the blog posts. Not all at the same time, but you continue creating multiple posts. So here's a diagram, guys. I'm going to drop the link of this diagram in the event page, so you guys can take a look at this on your own. Well, you can also see it in the in here, but I'll drop it on here anyways.
Your drawing skills improved dramatically, man.
Has it? You don't want to know how long it took me to create that, because it did. It took me too long. But I actually just created that this morning. I prepared this whole presentation this morning. So here's the simple content publishing diagram, and it shows internal linking structure, guys. If bookmark this, save it, whatever, download it. I don't care what you do, but hold on to this. I'm going to add this into, like I said, the core training as well, so that people have this to refer to. But I always recommend sticking with simple silo for websites if possible, guys. It will make your life a hell of a lot easier. But this is basically what I'm talking about in that previous slide. Okay. So whenever remember, you're going to have a syndication network around this site. So every single one of these posts that get published are going to be syndicating out, right? They're going to be publishing out from your site out to all of your network properties. All right. And that's going to provide the backlinks. So it's really, really critically important that your internal links, so the links within the content body of the post, are linking to where you want the pages that you want to rank on your site. So for a simple silo structure, you're typically going to have a page / category. It's going to be one and the same. In other words, you create a page in WordPress, then you create a category with the same slug, and then you use a 301 redirect plugin like Simple 301 Redirects to redirect the category page to the actual page, right? Then whenever you publish posts, you make sure that you put the posts in the proper category, and then you link up to the top level silo page within the post. That creates your internal link, which reinforces the silo, okay? That's where every single supporting article that you post should have a link back up. It should be, first of all, placed in the proper category, the correct silo, and then it should also link back up to that top level category page. And I'm talking about a simple silo right now, okay? And every single post you should do that. And you should use different keywords within the post as the anchor text. And there's 3 different link types. We're going to talk about that in the next slide. Okay, we're going to talk about the 3 different link types. But you want to use variations throughout your supporting article posts for anchor text that link up to your top level page. Now, so all of these solid arrows here, guys, are showing a link, like essentially a link that should be required. In other words, I always make sure that there's at least a link present pointing in the direction that the arrow is pointing. All right. But then these dotted arrows here, guys, these are the ones that are optional links. So if you have, if you want to post from within the same silo to another supporting article within that same silo, you can absolutely do that. It's not going to hurt anything. You don't have to, and it's not going to hurt anything if you do. Okay. You can put a link, and those are do follow links. It's all within the same silo. In fact, it will just reinforce the entire silo. All I'm saying is I typically don't force a link to other supporting articles within the same silo. If it naturally occurs, in other words, if within the text of the post there's a good linking point that would make sense to link to another post within the same silo, I do it. If not, I leave it out. That's it. But I always make sure that there's a link from the supporting article up to the top level page. Okay, so that's simple silo. Complex silo, it's the same thing. The difference is you may, with a complex silo, you're going to have a top level page, top level category, which you call a parent page, top level category. Then you have a child page or or subcategory, right? Remember, again, it's all about creating categories and or subcategories, and then creating pages with the corresponding slug. And if you're creating a child page, then it's going to have a corresponding slug as well. All right. And again, if you guys are unclear as to what silo structure setup is, we have 2 separate videos that go into great detail about simple and complex silo structures. I'll make sure that I link to those within the lesson page when we upload this to the membership site. Okay. But same thing, guys, you're just going to, usually with a complex silo, you're going to have a top level category and then subcategories. In fact, that's what this is set up as, a complex silo structure with home remodeling. Take a look at the URL structure here, guys. And this is a physical silo structure. I've got remodeling up here, and that's my top level silo. Then from within each, you see how it goes down to a 3rd level. Now it says kitchen remodeling, or it says remodeling / kitchen. If I go to bathroom, it's going to go / bathroom. This is a complex silo structure. So we're looking at posts. Actually, what we're looking at right now on this is an actual page. This is a subcategory page, a child page or subcategory. Does that make sense? So we're looking at this level right here. Okay. On this diagram, this level right here is what we're looking at here. Now let's go take a look at the blog. All right. So these are the supporting posts. All right. So if I go take a look at this and what should I do with my basement? Now take a look at the URL structure. So this goes top level silo remodeling, right? Subcategory basement, then my post. My post is placed, it's about basement remodeling. So it's linking up to the basement remodeling subcategory, excuse me. However, as I mentioned before, the dotted lines are optional links. So you could link between supporting posts within that category or subcategory in this case. You can also always link from a post all the way back up to the top level category. You don't have to just link to the subcategory. I recommend that you always have a link to the subcategory regardless. But you can also link back up to the top level category page, because remember, they're all one in this, it's all part of a overall master silo, right? Master category. All right. So you can push long tail relevance all the way up to the top level keyword. All right. So that, again, that's optional. I wouldn't force that, but if there's a good opportunity that naturally occurs within the content of the post, that's a good point to do it. All right. So I just wanted to point that out. And guys, you guys, again, can go to GainesvilleVA.localhomepros.net and kind of analyze this site if you'd like, because this is done right, guys. This is why this site ranks so damn well. And I really haven't even touched it in 2 years. It's just because it was done right. All right. All right. Lastly, the YouTube silo, same thing, guys. It's the same principle. The difference is you're only using playlists, and you can't do subcategories and such. So it's very, very simple. It's going to be the same setup as a simple silo. You can link within from video to video if you want. You always want to link from the video back up to the playlist. All right. All right. So we got to keep moving because we're 25 minutes in and we're only a third of the way through. So what to do next? The link types, as far as and the different types of links that you want to link from within the content body of the post up to the top level or to the pages on the site that you're trying to rank. Right. So there's 3 different link types. There's the traditional contextual link. That's the one that we're all familiar with. That's where you just highlight a couple words within the content body, and you click the link button, drop your link in, and those words become the anchor text. So those would be keyword anchors. You can also use brand anchors as contextual links, right? You can also use naked URLs as contextual links, in which case I recommend that you have the keyword either preceding or immediately following the link itself, because you can actually pass keyword relevance through naked URLs based upon proximity. So how close your keywords are to that naked URL. So there's 3 different anchor text types for traditional contextual links: keyword anchors, brand anchors, naked URLs. You all get that. That's pretty common stuff. There's a curated content link. Curated content link, guys, you know what curated content is. Well, you can curate content within posts. You can curate content from your own site. So in other words, you can take, when you're creating a blog post, you can take a snippet, a paragraph from one of your pages on your site and curate it into the post. You're just referencing content on your site, right? And so you can use a curated content link. And typically when we are citing a source, when we're giving attribution to a content source, we generally will use the page or post title as the anchor. So that's a good thing to do, right? And that gives diversity, internal link diversity, right? As far as the anchor text types. And so you could do a curated content link and use the page or post title as the anchor, or just a longer anchor phrase, which those work really, really well. Using longer anchor phrases, because those also speak very well to the Hummingbird algorithm, which are the complex query search. That's what handles complex search queries, which are typically done by voice search through mobile device, right? And so a lot of times using longer anchor phrases or longer phrases as anchor text will oftentimes help stuff to show up in mobile search, because people are usually searching for longer, more complex queries because they're doing voice search, just so you know. All right, so curated content links are another awesome way to just give internal link diversity. Also, resource box link. Okay, so that's like 3 to 6 related content links that you can have at the bottom of the page that are related content, so it reinforces the overall theme of the post anyways. It's important to do that. And you can, I say 3 to 6 because it can vary, but you can use different link types within the content link section. So like literally you could put at the last paragraph of the post, recommended reading, or, additional resources or something like that, right? And then you just drop 3, 4, 5 different links to other content on the web that reinforces the theme of the post itself. And buried within those 3, 4, 5, 6 links, you put a link to a page or another page on your site that you're trying to rank for, if that makes sense. And that anchor text can vary as well. You can use any one of the anchor text types already mentioned here. All right, so that's it, guys. Resource box link. You just want to make sure that you're constantly what's most important for getting what to do next is to make sure that the content distribution engine, whether it's a YouTube channel or a WordPress site or whatever you're using to generate content, that's going to be distributed through your network. You want to make sure that you have the structure set up, right? The architecture is correct. So, and with YouTube, there's not a whole lot to do other than create playlists. But with WordPress, you just want to make sure you got the correct silos, you have your silo structure correct, and you also have your keywords stacked. In other words, the makeup of your silo correct. You don't want to have keywords that should be in a different category in one, you know what I mean? You don't want to mix categories and stuff like that. So my point is once you have your architecture correct, your structure correct, then what you want to do is worry about content strategy. And a lot of your content strategy can be determined just from your keyword research. You can like literally develop out weeks and even months worth of content just from doing keyword research, right? And so, and whether you're doing the content marketing or you've outsourced it, which I certainly hope that you guys are outsourcing that, you can develop all that out and then just hand it over to an outsourcer and say, here is the next quarter or the next 3 or 6 months of content for you. If you're posting once, twice, 3 times a week, whatever it may be, here's what I want you to be posting about. These are the, you can do that. You can say, these are the topics that I would like for you to try to work in. Doesn't mean that they're always going to be able to select or find content to post about or curate about for some long tail phrases, but you just give them the list and it gives them the ability to mix and match and select and use what they can when they can, if that makes sense. All right. So we got to move on. We're going to talk about this next, how to get results for local. This will just be a couple slides as well. We'll try to go through this one a little bit faster because the same process applies here with how to get results for local as it does for what to do next, which we just covered. All that we just covered still applies to this as well. These are just some additional things that you can do with syndication networks that are going to help you to get results for local. Okay. So for local guys, you certainly want to use your blog for posting curated content with topical relevance and geographic relevance, right? Everybody typically, or not everybody, but most people assume that they should only be publishing content about their topic. So like, let's say for local stuff, like home remodeling, for example, home improvement related content. Yeah, that's certainly important. But what about geographic relevance, right? So why not publish content about the location in which the business is located, right? The area, the city, right? So news, local events, anything at all that has to do with local news, you add that content into the blog and now you're reinforcing the local relevancy, right? And that's really, really important, guys. I think that gets overlooked so much. So topical relevance is important and geographic is relevant, or relevance is important. And using curated content makes it easy because, again, you don't have to come up with all this stuff. You just go subscribe to RSS feeds from local newspapers and Chamber of Commerce, and like porch.com is another one, topics.com, or maybe it's topics.net or whatever. Topics, just go search topics, TOPIX. Like there's so many different sites, and you can search local blogs. Like go to Google and search, like in this case, I could say Prince William County, Virginia blogs. You could search for Gainesville, Virginia blogs, things like that. Just start plugging in some search terms, guys. Start looking for local content as well as topical content, right? You want to look for stuff that you can subscribe to. So that's why I say gather content sources. Just open up a spreadsheet. Again, you can use the same spreadsheet. In this case, I've got Excel open. But if this is for a particular project, this workbook would be named after the project, and I just create another tab. And I would say right here, and again, I always use Google Sheets, but I don't want to, I've got so many damn sheets open anyways. I would just put on here, content sources or something like that. And then I would just go through and I'd list the name of the site here and then drop the link in, right? Just drop the URLs in for the different links, for the different sites that you find content sources for. While you're going through that, and here's a trick. You can train a VA to do all this too. But look for RSS feeds for each one of those sites. Also, it doesn't have to just be websites, guys. You can also put Facebook pages in here, YouTube channels, LinkedIn stuff, whatever. You can put all that anything that's going to be related topically or geographically, period. Anything, any kind of content source whatsoever. Gather it, put it in a spreadsheet, and that way you have virtually unlimited content to use for your blog, right? So collect all that stuff, guys. Look for RSS feeds where you can. Sometimes you're not going to be able to find them, but then you can add to a spreadsheet or a feed reader, example Feedly. If you guys don't know, if you have not been through, what the hell is the name of Content Kingpin? It used to be called Curation Mastery, and when we updated, it's now called Content Kingpin. That's all about how to curate content. Okay, and that course is really, really detailed on how to do all this, and that's where we talk about using Feedly and everything else. So again, put all that stuff into a feed reader. It'll make it a lot easier when it comes time to create a curate a blog post. You just go open up Feedly, you scan the headlines, find a couple pieces of content that will reinforce the topic that you're going to curate about for the day, and then use those. It's a very efficient process, and again, this is all stuff that a VA can and should be trained how to do. Okay, and Content Kingpin is a training course that you can plug virtual assistants into to teach them exactly how to do this. All right, so publish a mix of topical and local content. Use the internal linking to push the pages. That's what we just talked about here. Okay, nothing's different. This is for how to get results for local. So it's just a matter of making sure that you are mixing local content in there, guys. That's the key to this working. All right, next. Rotate, let's see, yeah, I'm sorry. Rotate links within posts so inside the post, when you're doing your linking from within inside the content bodies of the post, right? You want to link to not just internal pages, but also link to your Google My Business Maps URL, both the long and the short URLs. I don't mean link to both at the same time. I mean just cycle through them, rotate between them. So within one post, you might link to the Google Maps short URL. The next post, you might link to the Google Plus brand page. The next post, you might link to the Google Maps long URL. Then the next post, you might link to the Yelp citation. You know what I mean? My point is, guys, within the post, you can start using your blog to start building links and building connections to all of those other properties. Google My Business Maps URL. Guys, the Google Plus pages, there's brand pages and locations pages. They're not the same anymore as the Google My Business Maps URL. Remember, Google Plus local pages used to be like the maps listings. They're not that way anymore. It's separate. I'm sure there's still some connection on the back end, but they're entirely separate. In fact, we're going to talk here in a minute, if we have enough time, about the YouTube and Google Plus brand account update, and you're going to see how Google Plus has now been completely separated from YouTube, and that's why there's another update, because now when you create a YouTube channel, it no longer creates a Google Plus page, a brand page anymore. Like it used to automatically create a brand page. It doesn't do that anymore. So now Google Plus has been completely removed from YouTube, and it's also been completely removed from Google Maps. So now, like, those are entirely separate entities. Again, there's probably a connection on the back end. I don't work for Google, so I don't know. But my point is that you want to be linking to the Google My Business Maps URL from now on. You can also, and you should still also link to your Google Plus brand and or locations pages. But my point is that you want to start building links to your maps listings as well. Okay. So again, you can just rotate, always be linking internally to pages on your site, right, that you're trying to rank. That's how we start SEOing and building links to our site, guys, right, through our blogging. And then, but what I'm saying is also link to and rotate through all these different types of things: maps, brand and locations pages, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, citations. Why? Because we're just reinforcing connections, guys. We're kind of revalidating the entity, reinforcing. Okay. So make sure you do that. Next, modify the IFTTT applet in buffer. Well, it's the applet. It's like, RSS to G plus via buffer, that applet, right? Because you can't post directly to Google Plus from IFTTT. It has to go through the buffer applet. And so the buffer applet that you set up for syndicating to Google Plus, you want to modify that to include NAP, website URL, and the GMB maps URL. So you modify that in the applet section of IFTTT in the description area. So let me just show you an example of what that looks like. In fact, do I still have IFTTT open? I do. This is the Vernon Dunn account, though. I don't have anything local in here, so I can't show you that. But what I can show you is this. All right, so this is a property that we started working on as part of the local Kingpin update. And unfortunately, this freaking business, this CrossFit gym, they can't get their head out of their ass. And so this is on hold again. So anyways, but this is one that I had set up. This is a CrossFit gym. And you can see, okay, so it's updated already, but you can see here what I'm talking about. In the applet itself, okay, so here's the thing. This CrossFit gym, they are doing, they're doing a ton of stuff on Facebook right now. And this is going to be on the next slide anyways. But so they're always making new posts to Facebook with these image posts, right? They're doing it like several times a day, or at least a couple times a day, sometimes more. And so all I did was I went in and I set up a new applet. If client is active on Facebook and or Twitter, create an applet for posting activity from either Facebook or Twitter, or both if they're doing a lot of activity on both, to Google Plus pages, right? And include the NAP details in the applet, in the post body. And so what I mean by that is just take a look at this. All right, so you can see here, like for example, this post right here. I had forgot to turn link shortening off inside IFTTT. So you'll notice that the maps URL, or excuse me, the website URL and the maps URL have been shortened by the Buffly links for all the previous posts. But I just caught that this morning when I was preparing the presentation for today. And so look, they're using hashtags. Well, at least that's good. Anyways, you can see now that the links are coming through. Now, when you set up the NAP in the applet inside of IFTTT, in fact, let's just do this. Let's go to my applets, new. If this, oh, you know what? I don't have buffer connected, so it's going to, not to this account. Anyways, I was going to go through the actual setup process. But anyways, the one you're going to want to put, like for the Google Plus applet, it's typically just the link. It's the title and the link. That's usually the only thing that goes in like the body section of the applet, right? It's usually title, URL. Those are the two ingredients. Well, what you do is do title, URL, and then put NAP, but it doesn't, the line breaks don't come through. So what you have to do is NAP, put a space at the end of every single line. If you're going to create line breaks in the applet, in other words, you know, you hit enter to go to the next line, just make sure before you hit enter, you put a space at the end of every line, or else it will jumble all the text together, if that makes sense. So this is what it looks like. So there's just basically a call to action here, contact for a free trial session. And then here's the NAP, CrossFit ground control, next line. So it's CrossFit ground control space, then enter, right? Then here's the address, the street address, space, enter, city, state, zip, space, enter, phone, and then, you know, website URL, and then maps URL. Okay, and so those blog posts now, guys, back here, if you're posting content and you've got NAP with the website URL and maps URL, and that is posting, now you're posting both topically and locally relevant content to your blog that's now syndicating to your Google Plus brand and locations pages, right? Because you can have both, or if you just have a locations page, that's fine. You're syndicating your content to those with the NAP in there. That's going to help to reinforce the Google property. All right. And then again, like I said, if the client is active on Facebook, like this particular business is doing a ton of stuff on Facebook, then allow their post, their activity to fuel the Google property. Right. And that's what you can see that is done here. And like, I love the fact that they're actually using hashtags. I'm gonna have to find out who actually posted that, because we got a couple people in the group in this gym that are posting to this page, but that was great that they did that. So my point is, guys, just keep that in mind. That's what you want to do, is you want to work on syndicating additional topically and locally relevant content to the Google Plus pages, and then adding NAP and links to My Business and Google My Business One, obviously the website. Okay, and you'll see that that's going to have a huge effect. Now, this isn't part of this training, but just so you can see, like, I haven't done shit with this business only because just some crazy stuff going on. I don't have time to explain all that here anyways. But this site, we're trying to compete with CrossFit Culpeper with this particular site, and I haven't done shit really with this. And you can see, guys, just from the activity, from what they're doing, like recently, because we've been kind of monitoring this now for a couple months. Although, like I said, I haven't done much work on this because I'm having issues with the management of the owner on who's going to pay for what and all that kind of stuff. But my point is you can see that this website here, guys, this has got no syndication network. Well, it does have a syndication network, but it's not a blog. This is a ClickFunnels page. It's just a freaking landing page. And essentially I'm ranking right below CrossFit Culpepper, which is another brand. And it's it's mainly because we've done some RYS stuff. And then recently we've seen it start moving up. And it has a lot to do with the fact that these applets that are posting the Facebook activity to Google Plus is having an effect. And I'm seeing that because I've been watching it for the last few weeks, and I haven't done a damn thing to this in several weeks because, again, the issues I'm having with the owner and the management trying to figure out who's going to do what. So I haven't done much to it. But the fact that I'd set up those applets and they're creating constant activity, it's helping to push and reinforce that. And so my point is that, like, hands off, and I'm still getting results. I haven't even touched this damn thing in weeks, and it's still producing results, if that makes sense. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. Now we got to get into the last few sections. We've only got 15 minutes. So do we have any questions? No, apparently not.
Yeah, we actually have a question from Don.
Okay. I saw this said in another group. I've gone away from creating silos and URL and structure, instead purposefully leaving a flat structure and instead using schema breadcrumbs to create hierarchy. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Don. In fact, that can actually solve some pretty ugly URL issues if you're using a complex silo structure, because what happens with complex, and we've talked about this in the mastermind, Don, but probably before you joined us. If you're using complex silo structure and you've got categories, subcategories that would appear in more than one top level category, it creates some pretty strange URL issues that are difficult to reconcile. And if you're going to be using the physical silo structure, which is where you're using category post name in the permalinks, right? So that it shows everything. That's the physical silo structure. Then it can create some pretty ugly and some pretty long URLs as well. And so you can switch to just doing internal linking. So you just leave the permalink structure to post name, and you still can create the silos. It's called a virtual silo. You can still do that 100%. And we have, it's been 2 years since I've tested it, but 2 years ago when I tested it, there was zero difference between the ranking effect of a physical silo and a virtual silo. I had the exact, I was able to achieve the same results either way. And in either case, if that makes sense. So absolutely, you can do that. You can use the breadcrumbs. For example, Yoast has the breadcrumb edition. You can do that as well. It's the same principle, right? So again, it's just a different way to do it, but it's the exact same principle. All right, so let's move on. Delicious update. It is not connecting the IFTTT. According to our network builders, I have not created a new account and tried to connect it myself, but I got a message from our top builder, the team leader today, that told me that Delicious is not connecting the IFTTT, and it's been that way apparently for some time. And so anyways, just omit it from now, guys. If you want to still create the account, fine. But I looked for, I went in fact, I'm probably still logged in. Let's see. Maybe not. I'll close it down. I was in Delicious for the Vernon Dunn property earlier today, and I was trying to figure out a way to trigger it like with Twitter or anything else. And it seems like a lot of the Delicious functionality has been removed. And I don't know if that's a sign that the site is going to be shutting down soon or what, but there's really no other way that I know of to trigger it. So just omit it for now. Don't waste your time. If and when it comes back, my builders will notify me that it's back, and I will post in the group that it's back, and then you guys can start using it again. In the meantime, just omit it. All right. Next, YouTube to self-hosted WordPress site applet. Guys, you know we can't share applets anymore unless we upgrade to a paid account. But somebody asked for me to go through how to set this up. And it's very, very simple. It's the same as you'd set up for a WordPress.com applet. It's just you enter in your self-hosted WordPress details, credentials, as opposed to the WordPress.com credentials. So here's the step-by-step, or known as the working procedure for how to do this. So you're going to need a secondary IFTTT account if you already are using WordPress.com and the main IFTTT account. Because remember, you can only connect one service at a time. So WordPress being a service, you can either connect WordPress.com or self-hosted WordPress. It can't be both. It has to be one or the other. So if you already have WordPress.com connected as a service to your main IFTTT account, and you want to syndicate YouTube videos to a self-hosted WordPress site, then you're going to need to create a secondary IFTTT account. Simple enough, easy to do. All right, so go to Services, WordPress, click Connect, enter the blog URL, username and password, click Connect. If you're having trouble connecting, it's most likely a plugin conflict. If you guys are using any bot blocker plugins like Spider Spanker or any of those that do that same kind of thing, there's many of them out there, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Those bot blocker plugins will oftentimes throw an error if you're trying to connect a self-hosted WordPress site. So you may have to disable that, or go figure out and you can do a Google search and figure out what the bot name is, or the user agent or whatever for IFTTT, and add that to the whitelist in the plugin settings, and then it should connect. Okay. Otherwise, if it's not a bot blocker plugin, chances are, if you're having trouble connecting self-hosted WordPress site, it's most likely a plugin conflict. So turn off all of your plugins and then start turning them on one at a time and trying to connect. And I know it's a pain in the ass, but I don't know any other way to tell you how to fix it. You just have to go through a process of elimination. All right. Now, you can also potentially, I think there can be, and I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think there can be hosting issues that can cause problems as well. But typically, if you have a decent host, which if you guys have been following us for any amount of time, you know that we always recommend having a good host, then you shouldn't have any issues. All right. That creates the YouTube to WordPress applet. Publish a video to YouTube channel to test applet. Okay. Just so you guys know, here was a test. I set this applet up earlier. In fact, we can go take a look at that. This is what the applet was. This was the set. You can see I clicked on my applets. This was a secondary IFTTT account that I set up for the Vernon Dunn or the Get It Done network, because I needed to connect. Because remember, the WordPress.com was connected to the main network. So I had to create a secondary account. I used the Outlook email, which is the recovery email anyways, to create another IFTTT account. And here's the actual applet. So if we go take a look at the settings, it's the same thing, guys. It's no difference. Everything in here is set up exactly the same as it would be for the WordPress.com. The only difference is I submitted or connected a self-hosted WordPress site. And here it is. This is, I tested this earlier. If we go over to, this is it. You can see this is how to create instant channel authority, Rocket Video Ranker Pro. This is the webinar we did with Bill Cousins last week. Oh, you know what? That's just the download. If we go over here. Yeah, and this is going to actually change me over to the other channel. Hold on. Let me switch back. Okay. So right there, if we go videos, you can see that I just added this today, April 26, how to create instant channel authority, Rocket Video Ranker. And here we go. If we go take a look at the Big Bamboo demo site, which is a self-hosted WordPress site, bigbamboomobile.com, you'll see this is the applet, this is the publish. How to create instant channel authority, Rocket Video Ranker. Watch on YouTube here. I used the title as the anchor text for the link that links back to the YouTube video via the Get It Done YouTube channel. If we go take a look at the applet, what's it say right here? Watch on YouTube here, URL, title, then via, and here's the channel URL. Okay. So guys, there's no difference in that applet. I know people have said they've had issues with it in the past, but there's really no difference. If you're having trouble, it's most likely a WordPress issue because of a plugin or potentially hosting. All right, we're almost out of time. Let's try to run through this very, very quickly. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention was the YouTube and Google Plus brand account update. This is what I was talking about earlier, in that YouTube no longer creates a Google Plus brand page when you create a YouTube channel. So, and it's a little bit of a convoluted way now to associate a brand page, Google Plus page, with the channel. But there's two different steps here. This is the process for creating a Google Plus brand page associated with the YouTube channel, or excuse me, the process has changed. This is the process for a new Google and YouTube account. So in other words, if you're just setting up a profile for the first time, you create the Google account and then you go create the YouTube account, and this is how you go through it. This is the working procedure. Okay. And guys, just follow this step by step. This is exactly how you do it. You don't need any further instruction, I don't think. I'd rather get to questions than actually walk through that. If you guys need additional walkthrough of this, just let me know, and I can either record a short video or something. Okay, but again, it's step-by-step procedures right here. It really should be self-explanatory based upon these instructions. If you already have an existing account that you want to add a new YouTube channel to, then this is the process. So this is for brand new accounts that were just set up like now, right? Like if you're going to go set up a brand new profile, Google profile, this is how you do it. Once you create the YouTube channel, how you create the brand page, and then you associate the two. All right, that's how you do it right here. If you already have an existing profile and you're just adding a new channel, then this is what you do. Okay. And I walked through that. I went through it a couple times this morning on my own just to make sure that the step-by-steps here were exactly right. All right. Wow, we did it. I was afraid we weren't going to get done in an hour. Any questions? Apparently not.
No, I'm not seeing any additional questions. Just Don's, and that was answered.
Okay, cool. Near me are almost instant traffic generators. You're damn right they are, Dominic. In fact, what I find is with AdWords, like you can set up near me call only campaigns, because those are typically the only time, like the near me terms are like the queries are the actual searches are like 90% mobile, right? Very few people. I mean, it's very few near me search click-throughs come from desktop. It's mostly mobile. So you set up call-only campaigns in AdWords, and you're right, you can get traffic like almost instantly, and you can have, and you just set your geo-targeting so that your ads are only being served near me to people that are in your target locations, right? You just got to make sure that you're in the AdWords setting that you select that in the advanced location targeting options, that you set people in my location only. So not people in my and interested in my location. It has to be people's in my location only. So basically it excludes people that would be doing searches, near, well, I guess that doesn't really matter for, you want to make sure that you set your targeting locations correct, like your geographic targeting area, right? So that when somebody does a near me search that's outside of that area, that it's not going to serve your ad. So let's see, updated my Delicious applet just last weekend and they seem to be posting fine. Yeah, Jeff, I think if you have existing Delicious applets, like for example, I'm sorry, I'm not in that correct IFTTT account. For example, I was in the other Vernon Dunn IFTTT account earlier today playing with some stuff, and the Delicious is you're right, it's still posting fine. But if you're trying to connect a new Delicious account, what I've been told from my builders, and I haven't verified it on my own, but I trust that what they're saying is true, is that apparently they're not connecting new accounts. So anyways, Columbia says, I heard a few months back that G+ was going to be phased out. Is that still the Google agenda to your knowledge? I don't know, Columbia. They've been saying that for what, 5 years, that Google Plus is dead and blah, blah, blah. And it's still around. It's being removed for because remember, Google forced everybody onto Google Plus. If you used any Google product at all, you had to be on Google Plus, right? You had to be. You had YouTube, anything, you had to have a Google Plus profile. Now it looks like they're removing that from all of their other products to where it's like standalone. I don't know if they're going to get rid of it altogether or not. I don't think they will, because to me it seems, and what my understanding is, so not so delicious anymore. Yeah. I've always thought of Google since the onset of the semantic web. I've always thought of Google Plus as an entity validating tool for Google. Does that make sense? As a way to validate identity of people. I'm not kidding. That's what I've always thought that Google Plus was, ever since I started learning about the semantic web and what it is. I've thought that Google Plus was really Google's way of trying to verify identities, and so I don't think it's going away, but I honestly don't know. Okay. Greg confirmed Delicious is not connecting as well. All right, guys. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Let's see. Was there anything else I was supposed to show you? No, that was it. All right, cool. We'll get this posted within 48 hours into the members area, guys, and I'll make sure I drop the links in there to any supporting documents, stuff like that. If you guys have any questions about anything, let us know in the Syndication Academy group. Appreciate everybody being here. Thanks, Marco, and thanks, Adam, for hanging around.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, man. Take care.
Guys.